We're live. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. We're live, and we're drinking bourbon, and we're wrapping up our Proof Points episode.
Yeah.
So this is a proof point we call 100.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe 101 if you sneak one or two in.
And we've got a bunch of bottles here, so let's wait until...
Yeah, we'll explain, but we'll give it a few minutes. Hello, Wolfie.
So Wolf E is in the house. What's up? Nice to see you in the chat again. We're trying out a new system here, so we actually have a monitor this time. And so I'll be fumbling around with the mouse trying to put comments up, but we realized that having the computer over here was a little distracting, and honestly, I can read the monitor a lot better. So Wolfie is in the house. So yeah, we're gonna drink through these, and then we're gonna put to bed our proof points, 100 level. So for people watching the rebroadcast, because they tend to get we get more traction on the rebroadcast. This one's gonna be the end of this, and then so here's a question. This is what I was kind of wondering. I was thinking about this today. Are you?
Sorry, yeah, I'm just checking out my options.
Greg's in the chat now.
I am.
I kind of put I didn't put any posts about us going live until late today.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what do we do for the next level? Do we go 105? Do we go straight to that 107 proof one that we're so excited about?
Well, no, I think we need to wrap up. We've done an 80, an 86, a 90, a mid-90s,
and now
100.
A couple tiers of 100, yep.
So I think we do a battle royale with cheese of the lower ones, and then we address I have a couple of 104s that are awesome, 105.
Sure.
And then obviously the 110, we start to get a ton of Maker's Mark cast strength stuff.
Yeah,
so
that Russell's Reserve store pick that I just got, that's also
109-ish.
Yeah, so here's what I'm kind of wondering. Maybe if we do, since we've gone from 80 to 100, and we're going to go higher, more proof.
Presumably.
Yeah. So
you have like a string or something on your shoulder.
Oh, a little cobweb, I think.
Yeah.
Check out my Bad Axe Bourbon shirt. Boom. Check out Bobby's merch store. So do we break it up into like 80, 86, and 90 versus each other, and then like 100, 105, and 107 versus each other?
Let's look at the list and decide if we have enough for one flight or two.
Because as much as I like to trash Basil Hayden, I don't think it's fair to put it up against like Four Roses.
The winner of this flight?
Yeah, the winner of this flight. It's just not going to be a fair competition.
Could be.
So I don't know. So let's explain how we did this, and if more people jump in the chat, we can do it again. But for the people watching on the rebroadcast,
in the future.
Yeah.
Hello, world.
So last time we did this, we had Knob Creek 12 year, and we did not have Knob Creek, the standard basic 9 year. And we kind of wanted to have this one. We just didn't have a bottle of it. And realistically, when we did the 90 proof one, we threw in the Lot B as a wild card, as a premium bourbon to go up against our winners from our previous flights.
Yep.
Just to see how the premium bourbon held up. The Knob Creek should have been the premium bourbon wild card in this.
Yep. And it won for both of us.
It won for both of us. It's the only one that won for both of us. And so what we decided to do is, since we both picked that one, it was kind of premium. It was a little out of the realm of the rest of them.
Yeah.
We brought that one back as our mutual pour. But we used in our first place what our second places were last round. So my second place was Wild Turkey 101, and Greg's second place was Benchmark Bonded. So that's why we have those back on, because those were the winners without that premium bourbon having been thrown in there. And now we added the Knob Creek 9 year as a wild card because it deserves to be somewhere in here. And we'll see how it fares up against the winners from previous ones.
Yep.
If it beats any of them, then it deserved to be on this list. If it comes in last, then it wouldn't have made the cut. So
Dr. Robert,
what's up? Cheers. So do you want to get into this right away? So by the way, we should explain. Bobby is in the house. What's up, Bobby? Bad Axe Bourbon. Yo, hey guys, have a great stream. Driving, can't contribute too much. That's cool. Bobby, since you're driving, I am repping my Bad Axe Bourbon t-shirt here. So anyway. So for those of you that are just listening, I don't actually address that enough. Like when I listen to whiskey reviews or watch them on YouTube, I usually have the screen off because I'm like Bobby, I'm listening to them while I'm driving.
Seriously?
Yeah. 90% of the time, because I listen to them at work, and I do a lot of driving for work. So obviously I'm not going to.
Well, thank you for that. But
yeah, watch the screen. So most of mine is just audio. So when we're doing a review and we go, well, I like this one better than this one or this one, I try to make it a point to say which one it is, and I'm not great about doing that. So anyway, You'll notice that there's more than 5 bourbons up here. We're each drinking 5, but our winners in all the categories
some
except
of
for
the
one were
previous
different.
flights we picked different ones.
Yep.
And so like I'm not drinking the Four Roses because that did not score well enough in whatever flight it was in. Actually, the Wild Turkey, which is disappointing, was not a winner. In early times, Bourbon I think is horrible. I'm kidding. It's fine, but it didn't win for me.
What's wrong with you? Crossfire Recruiting is in the house.
She is.
So maybe when we get to the point that we're scoring these, we'll take yours and like push them forward or something, so the audience can see that you're not choosing from any of these; you're only choosing from these. And so I will be drinking the Knob Creek 12 because that was our mutual one.
And then those 4.
Yep, and then these 4. Four Roses Single Barrel Wild Turkey 101 Early Times Bottled in Bond. I opened my last bottle of it tonight just for this live stream, and it kills me inside. Although I am a very proponent of opening your bottles. I've gone through a few of these, and it's my last one of the Brown Foreman.
Well, it just means you have to take another vacation and go buy more. It's not the end of the world.
If I can find more, this is the Brown Foreman stuff. This is the discontinued bottle. And then I'll be drinking the Knob Creek as well. We'll both be drinking that.
Aiden
seriously. Says, Wild Turkey 101 for the win.
Well, obviously he's a proof point snob and doesn't know anything about age.
Aiden, were you in on our last one? Because Wild Turkey 101 came in second for me.
They came in very low for me. I just
that was so weird because you love Wild Turkey.
I do, yeah. I think they're all great.
But Knob Creek 12 year one for both of us. And so we brought these in as kind of we both mutually agreed on the Knob Creek, so we brought our second places in. So let's get into it.
So I'm ready to...
This has been a lot of bottles in the making, this flight. Turkey Snipe. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
So honestly, I think we were doing the channel for a while, and we've done it for 2 years. And I had totally skipped Wild Turkey, and I was on Reddit of all places, which I'm normally not. And someone was talking about how great Wild Turkey was, and it was like, oh wait,
that wasn't when we were doing the channel. That was before that, because you liked the Wild Turkey before we did the channel.
So anyway, but I noticed on Reddit there was like a fan base for Wild Turkey products, and I assumed it was just bottom shelf garbage.
The mistake that's the classic Wild Turkey tale of Wild Turkey, yeah.
And so then I picked up a 101 and the rare breed, and
for sure. All right, I'm gonna get a drink here.
Yep.
We'll be putting comments up on the screen.
Oh yeah, you can do that now.
Let's see.
I don't
think anything on the table is bad, although I'm typically biased against Buffalo Trace products, not my idea of great whiskey. All right, fair enough. But yeah, there is we've said this for the last few now.
I think I kind of agree with your sentiment there.
There's no loser on this table unless one of us hops up on it. But yeah, these are all great whiskeys. By the way, Aiden, it was awesome to meet you. What was that, last weekend or the weekend before? Did I tell you I met Aiden in his live stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were sitting there talking we were in Sean's live stream. And then I noticed his name was Aiden, but I didn't put it together because there's a lot of Aidens out there, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And then he mentioned he works at Total Wine.
He's like St. Paul or somewhere? Or is
somewhere in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of close. He's told us before, but I forget where.
Yeah. And so, so that was awesome. Out of these my top 3, in no real order, is Knob Creek 12, Wild Turkey 101, Early Times. Aiden, those are my top 3 winners. So this was my winner last week. This was my runner-up last week. And this was my winner of a previous flight. So boom, Aiden and I are on the same page.
I think hopefully you guys are. So let's see if you can pull it out.
Let's see what happens here. Going to do some nosings all the way down and all the way back.
So each of us are blind where we're picking. We don't know which one we're drinking at the same time. And we're not, obviously, we mixed up the glasses, so we're not drinking at the same time. So if he gets like a banana note from whatever has banana flavors, I'm not necessarily on the same glass.
Well, we're only drinking 2 of the same bourbon even. So
well, that's true. And it's just the Knob Creeks are the same.
This is going to be a difficult one.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what that one is. Oh.
Wow.
I don't know what that one is. That is weird.
Okay, I gotcha, Aiden. So I didn't want to mention which one.
Yeah, no worries about that.
I couldn't remember if you put that in the chat or in the email.
Yeah.
So sorry about that if we blew your cover, if you're like an undercover agent or something.
That's right.
You know what's interesting
This better be interesting.
is last time we did this, the Knob Creek 12 really stuck out. I mean, we both right away. I'm not picking it out quite as drastically this time.
A particular note on that one. Ooh.
Man, this is.
Well, I'm gonna jump in and like give it a go because I'm not. I have a guess on one, and I have a absolute guess on one. Pretty confident on one, but all right, here goes.
I'm doing water between these.
On the nose, I was not thinking that, but on the palate,
whatever my number one is on the nose, this one definitely on the palate, bold. Also, first sip of bourbon today. So,
I was gonna make a comment, but I don't. No judgment.
I put my water on my banging bourbon note coaster with the tasting wheel on the back.
Oh yeah, we need to be sending those out to our Patreons.
Yes,
soon enough, you'll be seeing those in the mail.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks so much for the support. All right, moving on to glass number 2.
Yeah, gotcha, Aiden. Totally understand that for sure, buddy. All right, so get a little water here.
Holy cow, does that have a particular flavor note that I'm going to call peanut butter?
Really?
Quite so.
Was there a specific peanut butter note on any of those that you remember getting?
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's so good. This is going to be impossible. Can I just blend these all together and choose the blend as my favorite? Jordan G says, "Hey guys, do you
That's
fellas
such a good idea. We've not, but
But if you're looking for something like that, the Wright County Whiskey Club does.
Yeah,
that's a Facebook page that you can join.
So we're both members of Wright County Whiskey Club. They meet around once a month in either St. Michael or Monticello, and they'll do a tasting. And like next month, it's like a couple days after Valentine's, and it's all Four Roses products.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be there. I don't know if you're able to make it, but
possibly.
It is an absolutely great time.
We would definitely host stuff like that if we thought people would show up to it, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to try to work on that. Are you, I'm assuming, Jordan, that you're a Western suburb guy?
Yeah.
Oh. For those of you that just joined, because the number went up for sure, Greg's drinking Knob Creek 9, Knob Creek 12, Old Tub, Benchmark Bonded, and Old Forester 100.
Correct.
I'm drinking Knob Creek 9, Knob Creek 12, Early Times, Wild Turkey, and Four Roses. These are all of our winners. Maple Grove. All right, cool. And would be interested. Sweet. Yeah, maybe we can put something together. It might be just us and you, Jordan.
We'll just meet up at Brick and Bourbon.
Yeah, as long as there's whiskey involved.
Whiskey and bad choices.
Mm-hmm.
No, not too bad choices. So I have a guess, and I don't normally, if you've ever watched my live streams, you know I'm really bad at guessing what I'm drinking, and I'm absolutely going to get them wrong. But I really have a guess as to what each one is.
I'm forming opinions. All right, I can go for the last one here. It's my last one to taste, and then I'm going to go through them in the other way. San Squizzle, like Randy Quaid said in the first Independence Day, "Hello, boys, I'm back." Well, it's good to have you back, buddy.
I was going to say the other famous quote of his, but we don't need to say that. It's a different movie. It's a gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
Clark, that's a gift that keeps on giving. Major G, host an event. I'll be there for sure. Sweet.
Sounds like a good idea.
Did you ever notice that in Christmas Vacation, when they're talking, you have seen Christmas Vacation?
I have. Okay. It's been a while, but yes, I've seen it a time or two.
When he and Clark are talking, it's a classic scene where they've got the moose-shaped glasses. They're drinking eggnog, and he's like...
the jelly, at the end when he gets a jelly...
No, it's before that. It's when they're just kind of having their Christmas, when Eddie first shows up.
Okay.
And he mentions that his daughter's in rehab getting cured off the wild turkey.
Seriously?
Yeah, and I never, of course, knew what that meant growing up watching that movie, but now it's especially prudent. That's funny. All right, and I'm going to taste these all opposite direction. What would be your winners from this list?
You know, I think we've had some references to bourbon references in movies, but if anyone can think of any really good bourbon references in movies.
There's the Pappy Van Winkle reference in The Internship.
Don't know that movie.
If you ever watched a show called Silicon Valley, you ever watch that?
I'm aware of it, but I've never
Yeah, they
seen
reference the guy's drinking Pappy Van Winkle in that too. He keeps it in his desk.
Oh, okay.
It's fun to actually I put a post on Instagram about this. I'll sometimes pause a bar scene and check out their bottles if I spot one that's particularly rare.
You know, it was funny the other day. I was kind of killing time, and I was looking at real estate, just something I do occasionally.
I do that too.
And it happened to be a very nice condo I was looking at. It was way above my price range, but
was this in Florida?
It happened to be in Florida.
Speaking of which, we have a Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
If Greg moves to Florida, I'm going to need to go down there, him come up here to do our reviews.
Well,
and then we can do mutual live streams. I keep looking at the monitor, so I don't know if that's weird. I'm trying to look at the camera.
Yeah, first time we have a monitor right below the camera. But anyway, they had a bar in this amazing condo.
Okay.
Very expensive condo. And I was, looking at the picture like, all right, what do they got? And they had a lot of rum and a lot of vodka.
I'm not buying from those people.
And a couple of whiskeys. Nothing, kind of mediocre stuff like this, but nothing obscene. But to be honest, Pappy 23 would not have been out of place in this condo. Let's just put it that way.
Major G says Knob Creek is my go-to.
I just got a different note. You ever do that? You ever drink a bourbon and you have an idea and all of a sudden it changes and you're like, maybe it's not that, it's that?
In Star Trek, the Saurian brandy was just George Dickel decanters.
Seriously?
Interesting.
Wow.
Oh. I think I have my first and second place, possibly. I just have to try this other one more time. But I got to tell you, well, I'm not going to say it because I'm not predicting anything quite yet.
It's good thinking, Clark.
These are my two plays. Old Forester 100 to win, although I would root for Old Tub as an underdog, also Knob Creek. All right.
Totally agree.
Yeah. The Old Forester, weirdly enough, was your number one in one of our flights. And you're not a big Old Forester fan. I mean, you're coming around to it.
Old Forester also won in the 95 proof flight with that Statesman. And I used to really not be an Old Forester fan, but
they do well for you blind.
They do. And
and then Old Tub won for you.
It did.
Old Tub beat
in
out
the bottled and bond flight against some expensive bottled bonds, including
we had Henry McKenna, E.H. Taylor,
and this one for me.
Yep, and the early times bottled and bond one for me. Okay, so I think I've got my first two. I have to go through these last three here to get whiskey on the bar here. Hayden says Old Tub is fine. I agree. It's nothing spectacular, but it's got a different flavor to it that some people tend to not like. I find that to be a very divisive bourbon.
A lot of people absolutely hate it, but I personally really like cinnamon as a flavor, and I think that's a prominent one. more so than a lot of others. So
Sometimes I have a hard time judging these. The further up in proof or age or whatever you get, because there are some, like Four Roses it's a good bourbon, like a good quality bourbon. Knob Creek 12. I mean, all of these are good quality, but you got some that may be younger, older, whatever. So it's hard to judge. It's hard to judge if it's just what taste is your favorite, or is it the overall complexity of it? Like, I might like the flavor more of this one, but I can tell you that this is a better quality bourbon. The other one, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it's more of a premium bourbon experience.
Yeah. So for those in the chat, I think all of you guys that we know and talk to are a bit of whiskey geeks. I have an idea for a video. I want to pick a couple of bourbons and pour them in like little 250 ml like sample bottles and do the exact same flight, like 3 different days. Now, we won't know what's in them. We're just going to pick A, B, and C and see if our order changes.
That's interesting.
Because I think different food, different days, different, like you may like totally pick different bourbons on different days.
Unless you happen to be a Brown-Forman truffle pig.
Well, so let's not pick something that is like.
Well, that'd be interesting to do, though, is put one in there that you think is your number one. Aiden, you said you have one of the Brown-Forman. This is my last Brown-Forman, bottled in bond.
I have one bottle unopened, but my price tag to anybody is $20. My price tag to Ben, $1,000.
Buy it from him. I'll buy it from you for 30, and I'll throw in some coasters for free. Sir Cuts is in the house. Cheers.
Well, I have an order. I don't honestly know exactly what everything is.
Bit waxy. The rest is that apple cinnamon, sure. Aiden, interesting. So you got a 2020 Bomburgers in the glass. Didn't buy it from where I work. I saw Bomburgers on the shelf, and I didn't ask how much it was, but it was a place that usually doesn't sell their allocated stuff too overpriced. But I'm not really familiar enough with it to spend the 100, 120 that it usually runs for.
Seen it. I know nothing about them. I've seen it on Instagram, but that doesn't count.
Jordan G, I watched the channel Stuff and Whiskey, and I like their blind style videos. Yeah, that's true. They do a great job. Have you seen that?
I don't know that channel.
Yeah, it's really good. They take like samples.
Do they talk about stuff
and whiskey? You set me up for that.
I set you up for it. Yeah.
So they.
So that's why we work so well together.
Yeah. So they'll take like just like little sampler bottles like these, but they're all unmarked, and they have like tons of them, and they'll just pull randos out, and then they've got like a list of what they are, like a cheat sheet. So they'll just review tons of stuff completely blind.
That's amazing. So I'm in the process of a woodworking project where I have a disc of plywood. I'm going to drill a bunch of holes in it, put a bunch of sample bottles in it. Like we'll pick a bottle. Let's say we're doing Old Forest 100. And then we spin the wheel and we compare that to sample number 7. We have no idea what
sample number 7 is.
We have no idea.
Okay. Sweet. I like that. I like it a lot. Crazy how much the taste can change blind or day-to-day. Yeah, for sure. I agree. But I think there are certain ones that I will just always be consistent.
I think so. I mean, like I think Knob Creek, I'm noticing consistency, and maybe Maker's Mark a little.
Aiden says, Bomburgers is very pecan pie. Anything over MSRP is a pass to me. 100 absolute max. It's good, but not that good. So as far as going over MSRP, I don't know if you're talking in general, Aiden, or just for that particular one. By the way, pecan pie I happen to love, so
ditto.
Maybe I should have picked that one up.
Yeah.
There are certain ones that I'll go over MSRP, but not much. You know what I mean? Like,
so I don't follow prices, so I don't know what MSRP is. If I just see, let's say, Four Roses Singapore, no idea what it's. But I know it's really good, and so I'd be willing to pay, if it was $60, maybe I pay that today. But I have no idea what MSRP should be.
Yeah. So like for allocated stuff, like say, old Rip Van Winkle is supposed to be, say, $70. Yeah. I don't know what it is retail now, but it's much lower than what it goes for on the secondary.
Yeah, I know
what's not. Would I pay $120 for it if I saw it just sitting on the shelf? Yeah. Just sitting there? Yeah, I might do that. I don't know if I'd go over that. There is a point where it's like, okay, it's rare. I get that. It's not somebody trying to charge $800 for it. That's when it starts to piss me off.
Yeah.
Let's see. Aiden says, Stuff and Whiskey is a great channel. Josh's mom lives in the area and comes to see me at work. Josh and Aaron visited once too. That's awesome.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's cool. What people are willing to pay depends on the person. I say nothing over MSRP for me. I'm saying not over 100 for anyone being realistic. I mean, over $100 for a whiskey. I mean, there's certain ones where it's like
I've paid over 100 a couple of times, but I don't know if there's any that are genuinely worth it.
Is there a diminishing return? Like you hit
Because,
$100
like,
and
none of these are like this is maybe
that's 60. I just checked that the other day.
You know, this is 30 and it's freaking awesome. This is in the 20s. This is in the low 20s, mid 20s, $7,000 if you're buying it from Greg. And what, 35?
I paid 25 at Sam's Club for it, but it's usually around 30, 35.
Yeah, okay. So, all right, I have an order. I'm comfortable with it.
All right, give me just a second here because I've been distracted by the chat. Entertain the internet for a second, Greg.
All right.
Do a flip or something.
Yeah, this is me dancing. Want to see it again?
See, this is where I'm finding like, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I'm getting a little more of a premium bourbon experience off of one of these last three.
To think that almost won for me. These all have almost won for me.
You know what's weird? I've drank these that way. I've drank them this way. I've skipped around between them.
Yep.
I think my order is my order. I think they just
Seriously?
yeah, it just happened to be one of those nights where they were all poured in the order that I liked them the best. That's never happened, but
I think I'm not that far off. I made one change. And I'm at a quandary, like I have to be done because I'm actually running out of this one.
okay.
Hey, Mike.
It's down between these two.
Oh, he's deciding between his fourth and his fifth. You know, Ben, second place is the first loser.
Right. Oh, God, this is terrible. I'm going to switch these.
Yeah,
Those are the only ones.
That's a good call. I would too.
Thank you. Thanks for the moral support there. What's up, Mike? Not worth over 100. I almost get to a certain point where like the proof point matters on something over 100. I mean, if it's aged 15 years or something, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of get to a point where it's like, if it's a 90, 95, if it's sub 100 proof and I'm paying $100 for it, you better hit me with some age on that.
You know what? I need to think about how to craft this video. I want to do a high proof versus high age.
Yeah.
Because I know that typically higher age also has higher proof, but not always. I have that 186 proof, 15 year, 12 year, whatever it is.
IW Harper.
Yeah. And then we have some high proof that are not that that old. I want to do a blind flight of high proof versus high age to just see, because I personally, in my mind, think high age matters more to me than proof. But I'm not sure it'll come across in a blind flight. You, by what you say, you would definitely pick proof more than age. But I don't.
For the most part, yeah.
So we'll see. Are we ready to pick some winners or losers, I guess?
I don't know how to do my first two because it's a complete draw. One I think is the more premium bourbon. One I like the flavor better. What should I go for? Flavor or which one I think is the more premium bourbon experience?
Define the word premium.
It's just across as thicker.
So okay, so
it's a viscosity.
Okay. So imagine this, and it's gonna be a stretch. Imagine you're done with the live stream. You're gonna walk straight upstairs and do a bubble bath. Which glass are you gonna pick up and take with you?
Okay.
So Ryan, I've never purchased a bottle from a person. I purchased from one liquor store in California who shipped to Minnesota, and it turned out not to be a great experience just because they sign you up for a monthly subscription that they didn't tell you about, and it was kind of I'm looking at the chat, not the camera,
Yeah.
but anyway, it wasn't a great experience, so it took forever to get canceled by them. But I've never actually bought anything other than like in person. Go on vacation, obviously. I went to Calgary and had a great selection, but I was there and.
Or is it what's the furthest who's ever specifically drove to get a bottle of bourbon? Maybe.
Well, I drive to Fargo twice a year. That's 3.5 hours.
Melrose is an hour. I drive there just for bourbon.
Yeah.
Aiden says there aren't many I think over 100. And one of those people that think that B-Tax are legitimately $100 bottles for sure. Yeah. Some I'll go over 100 just because I like what they do, but it takes experience.
Yep.
And he also said that Bomb Burgers is aged in the Chin K Pin oak, and I'm not aware of another bourbon that is. It's distinct. Yeah, I've never heard of another one that does.
I don't even know what that is.
But yes, I did read that about it.
So is that the first aging or is it a second aging in that whatever that is, oak?
All right. So my furthest, like I'll drive to Melrose. It depends on the bottle. I mean, would I drive an hour and a half to go pick up a great bottle that I really want?
I mean, oh no,
I bought this one or a couple of these, and this is a Travelers Only Jack Daniel's bottled in bond.
But you happen to be on vacation.
Yeah, I've never left. Well, I don't think he's meaning like left the country to. But yeah, I bought that.
I mean, I went on vacation to Calgary. We drove to go see the park and stuff like that, and then visit a few liquor stores, and they're amazing, totally different selection.
Mm-hmm.
Weller 107's on the shelf every day.
Sure.
Blanton's was easy to find. So,
all right, it's Michter's. They don't say.
Oh,
that's Michter's is the Bomb Burgers is a Michter's.
Oh, okay.
All right, should we stop putting this off?
Yep, let's pick our winners or start with the losers.
Okay.
So number 4.
So Greg is let's put these together now.
Well, it's gonna.
So now you're only.
So I'm these 4.
I'll take mine. I'm going to move mine over. So Greg is picking from these 5. Well, we can just leave it like this because then we'll move these for mine.
Oh, you want me to do all 5 of mine?
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So we're both drinking both of these Knob Creeks. Everything towards my side is what I'm picking from. Everything towards Greg's is what he's picking from. Okay. All right, Greg, in last place. Drum roll. It is. You're just like hurting your soul these last 2 flights.
Yeah.
Let me see the bottom of that again. Yeah, it is. Your last place is Old Tub.
I thought it could be. That doesn't surprise me.
But think of all the bourbons it beat to make it to this final list.
That's right.
Which is amazing. Okay. I struggled with my last 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know what the last 2 are. I'm going to write down what I think these are.
Don't do it. So he's drinking the 2 Knob Creeks
down independently.
And then those 3 over there. It's my Old
Just
Tub.
bear with me here for my...
This is a PG-13-ish show, so share a PG-13 version story of what made you realize.
What?
I don't know what he's referring to.
This is a PG-13 show, so share a PG-13 version or a story of what made you realize what? Did he send that chat before? I've done that when I'm like in a chat with something and I accidentally hit the send button and it's not a complete chat.
Yeah.
And then other people fill in the chat behind and then I can't get back to it. Okay, so my last place, I think my last 2 are Wild Turkey and Knob Creek 9. Now I don't know which one is which, so I just threw just a guess.
Okay.
And I guessed my last one was Wild Turkey, but I don't know. I think the Wild Turkey or Knob Creek.
Wild Turkey.
All right. So that means that in the last flight, had we not had the Knob Creek 12, we had the 9, the 9 would have beat the Wild Turkey, presumably. But like you said,
it varies day of the week. And
so WT 101.
Full moon or not.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. My 4th place.
What in PG-13 or higher versions of stories do you both have of realizing what bourbon and the power it meant to you? I don't think there's anything non-PG-13. Your fifth place is
Fourth place.
fourth place. Oh, number 5,
Oh.
Knob Creek 9.
Knob Creek 9 with the heavy peanut note.
Ryan, for me, it was drinking it out in the garage, just like finally learning how to drink it the way it's supposed to be drank, i.e. not shots. It doesn't have to be drank any certain way. I started drinking it on the rocks. But just, really bourbon for me, getting to like it was not like party stories. I was more of a beer guy for parties or shots of stuff. Yeah. But when I actually started to like bourbon, it was when I started to actually just sip it, whether it was, like I said, on the rocks at first or neat.
I had 2 bottles, one, and maybe it could have been Knob Creek. And it finally occurred to me 9 years made a big difference versus some basic bourbon.
Sure.
And once I learned the age and the proof really affect the flavor, that's when it became like a science and like a, experimentation thing.
Absolutely. All right. So my fourth place, I believe to be Knob Creek 9.
Okay. Peanut forward.
Knob Creek 9. So here's what I will say about these two. We both did 4 for that one. Here's what I'll say about these two. Both awesome.
Yeah, totally great.
But... Yeah. To come in last place on this list means you're an awesome frickin' bourbon because you've already beat out so many other bourbons to get here.
Sure.
And they just had a really great flavor, but they were lacking something in that premium bourbon experience, or they were lacking a particular flavor that I love very much.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I love the flavors on this, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I guess a 13 virgin would be like hitting puberty and realizing suddenly that females are pretty cool. And that's how you find one you're like, oh, that's different. Hey, Shredword's in the house.
Shredword.
What's going on, Shredword?
You're just joining us, but Aiden just hit puberty, evidently.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, so your third place, right in the middle. You haven't taken any guesses on these. Do you want to guess at any of them?
Bench.
It is number 3 is Benchmark. Your first guess, you knocked it out of the park.
I was fairly confident with the others, but yeah.
That means you have.
So I've got Old Forester still kicking.
Look at
and
that.
12 and the 12.
You are an Old Forester fan. There's just you can't.
Well, I'm
deny
obviously
it
Brown
anymore.
Foreman is obviously higher in my wheelhouse than I used to think. That's fair.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It definitely has definitely kind of went up the ladder for you.
Definitely.
And maybe throughout just doing this channel, because we've included it in so many blind flights, which is another thing that's kind of fun about doing this. We kind of get the chance to, and my balls dropped very suddenly. That's good, Aiden. You don't want that to be like a long, engaging process. You just want to, cheers, wearer of the ball gag. So Shredword's with me on it then. We had a whole conversation as to whether or not it's ball gag or gag ball.
Moving on.
Remember when the Old Forester sex video that we filmed?
You filmed?
Yeah. We filmed a video of 2 Old Forester bottles having sex, and one of them was wearing a ball gag. So Shredword's on my side with the whole ball gag thing. Okay, so I'm going to get onto my number 3 pick, which I believe to be Four Roses Single Barrel.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked and amazed. I don't know. Number 2.
Number 2, Four Roses Single Barrel. I am just killing it.
I think okay, so what's left for you
You poured these and you mixed them.
Well, I think you're totally blind on this. I totally agree. So 12-year Knob Creek and early times Bottle and Bond.
And I know which one I put in first place.
Okay.
I can tell you.
I know how too.
It's ball gag. Okay, see, we're making some progress here. Anybody else think it's gag ball versus ball gag? I mean, to each their own. You're still getting your point across.
I
with
don't
gag
think I have
ball.
a strong opinion either way.
Well, it's just something you may want to.
It doesn't seem to come up much in
consider.
conversation.
You never have to bring it up. You don't want to miss it. And you want to say like gag ball or ball gag, and they think you mean something else and not like an actual.
That'd be unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay. So your second place. Well, let's do the first place because
So let's go to first place.
let's go to the winner. Do you have any idea what you think it
I
might be?
think it's strongly peanut forward and well aged.
So you think it's the Knob Creek 12? It is the Knob Creek 12.
Ding, ding, ding. And my second place
Is the Old Forester 100. Old Forester just crushes it. That's the one thing that you've been like very consistent on in all of ours.
It tends to win first or second for me.
Yeah, that's
and I'm
amazing.
starting to really pick out the Old Forester note and Knob Creek notes. These are, I really need to like remember that this is a style I like.
So for my number one pick, here's the problem. I knew that these were what they were. And now, so here's what I go about doing this, since I am a Brown Foreman truffle pig. Okay.
Are you considering this Brown Foreman, or is it Knob Creek specific?
No, that's Jim Beam.
Oh. I'm just
Only we can. Is there an edit rewind button? Oh, hold on a second. We've got some very important stuff here. Gagball Johnson was a friend of mine in high school. That's outstanding. Gagball Johnson. Good old Gagball Johnson. Haven't seen him in years. There are multiple types of gags that mostly refer to what goes in the mouth. It's a ball gag because it's a gag with a ball as the gag.
We're going to be demonetized and
hold on
canceled.
a second. Well, we might as well finish the text though. So, okay. So mostly refer to what goes in the mouth. It's ball gag because it's a gag with a ball as the gag. Gag ball would be the ball alone as the gag.
All right, let's move on.
Then taped or something.
All right, let's move on. Skip. Let's move on.
I don't think we're going to get kicked off of YouTube.
Let's move on.
So that's good information to have, although I don't know if I agree. Okay, so my number one, I believe, is the Early Times.
Seriously?
Yes.
That would, yeah, I think that's how it's going to work.
Number 4, Early Times. So Knob Creek 12. Okay, here's the issue I was having. These two are my favorite right off the bat. The Knob Creek 12. And Aiden says this is important. So what I was having was, I feel like the Knob Creek you can get the age on it. That's kind of what I was getting at without wanting to give away what I was kind of picking up.
Me too.
I love the flavor profile of this so much. I would consider these equal if, like you said, if I wanted to go up and have one of these in the tub, either one of these would be fine. There is something about the flavor profile of this that wins every time for me. Because it has such it's got that banana runt note to it. And I hate bananas. And I hate banana flavored stuff. I hate everything banana related. But the note I get off that, and it also has a really nice kind of like cherry note.
Since it wasn't my flight, I want to try it since you're.
It's just so good. It just has that extra I don't know. There's something to it that's just. I wish I had suspenseful music.
I get brown sugar.
Yeah, molasses. It's very similar to the Old Forester 100.
I don't know what the age is. I know it's 4 years, but
yeah, could be more.
It sure drinks maturer than that.
Yeah, it does. There's something I don't know. Do you agree with me that there's just something different about that one?
It's got a nice balance of sweetness and complexity.
Now let's mix these bottles up. Let's do a whole nother flight of all of them each.
Something else is going to win. Although I am going to do another pour of this one. I'm almost empty. My glasses I kept going back and forth, so I don't have a lot left. So my Benny Walker special will be kind of.
Well, you can pour more.
I could, but.
Well, let's just do it. I feel bad pouring the Early Times bottled in bond in with anything else because.
It makes it worse.
No. Because just like I said, it killed me to open this because it's my last one. I had 4 of them. I'll have to see if I can figure it out. I don't doubt it, Holmes. I have found that the cherry note starts to come out around 12 years. Okay. I think that the cherry note is kind of associated sometimes with the barrel. We've talked about that before.
I think so.
But I really get something else. This is like fruity and brown sugary and molassesy. To me, the Brown Foreman, early times bottle and bonds, was very peanut butter, banana, honey, sandwich. Okay.
Yeah, banana and honey is a good description. So Aiden, where would you find, like, do you travel and like find this in other states? Because that's what you do. And that's what I did.
Yeah. That's the only way that I've gotten a hold of it. So Ryan Frank says, I don't have time to dig into the bourbon note history, but I won a bottle of Douglas and Todd for a friend's Christmas party, and I think it's smooth and very acceptable to my palate, but I'm also a rookie in the bourbon world. We've had it. We've not done a review of it.
Oh.
We're not particularly big fans of it. It's a very craft whiskey flavor profile. And so it's kind of getting... The thing I find about Minnesota bourbons is that there's something about them, they just don't seem to age well. And so I don't know if they need longer in the barrel. So one theory is that the winters here get so cold, we've talked about this, that the barrel kind of seizes up and it just doesn't allow much interaction between the whiskey and the wood, so you're almost losing some time. I don't know if that's the case or not.
I definitely think the opposite of that, the heat of like Houston, like we had a Southern Texas whiskey and it was too much. Like
it's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible, even only after a few years.
Let's see. So yeah, we weren't big fans of it, but I can see if you throw that on the rocks or something like that, if that's how you drink your bourbon, it'd be fine. Mike Williams, I've gotten cherry on a few younger whiskeys, but I would call it common. It's mostly Barton. Okay.
So Aiden, we did just do a review. It's not even out yet, of another Minnesota whiskey that we actually really liked. And I know I say that phrase a lot, but
that was Ryan that asked about Douglas and Todd,
but Aiden just made a reference to it.
Oh, we did. Okay, down at the bottom. Okay, yes, I see that.
Yeah, so it is Panther Distillery.
Minnesota 14.
That's what they call it, but it's not 14 year. It's just whatever.
So you had the double oak one.
It's a double oak, and that really helped.
You said it cost 60. I saw one for 30, a Minnesota 14. So I wonder if they have...
Maybe that's not...
If not double oak one or something like that. So you remember it was $60?
I think so.
Okay. Because I did see one for 30.
We could ask our friend at that one place.
Yeah. I've only gotten cherry notes on the KC, the 18. Amazing pour. I have not had that, but I would love to.
Yeah, we have the 15, and I don't get the cherry so much. It's just the wood tannins on the 15.
Douglas and Todd is one of the more agreeable Minnesota products. The climate here doesn't help. Yeah, for sure. Douglas and Todd is made by Phillips, who have the facilities to make a more consistent product. So here's the weird thing about that, Aiden. I wonder if they do their aging with Panther, because I know Phillips makes Douglas and Todd, but if you go to the Panther Distillery warehouse up in Alexandria, the distillery is in Osakis, but the next town over is Alexandria, and they have an aging warehouse there, and they have in the window all these different products, and Douglas and Todd is one of them. So they're associated somehow with Panther in the sense that I don't know.
They could just store their barrels there.
Yeah, they might do that. I'm impressed that you would remember it after so many reviews. Yeah, you kind of get to a point where some of them blend in and some of them stick out. You know, if you really like something or really don't like something.
Yep.
I've never had a Panther product, or I've never liked the Panther product. There's a place in St. Paul and University called Studio, and they do a good job.
The only Panther I'd had before this was their White Lightning. They're unaged, and it was...
Yeah, none of the White Lightnings are good.
Paint remover. It was not so great.
It's a pretty good blend, but I got to tell you, early times bottle and bond beats the blend.
You think so?
Yeah.
I actually have been reading comments and not...
So my 100 proof Super Bowl winner of all of these.
What's a Super Bowl?
Well, the one that just made it through all of them, you know, made it through all the playoff rounds. Actually, I shouldn't even say that because it didn't go in the... This one just won that bottled and bond flight. But so it won my first bottled and bond flight. It won the total bottled and bond flight. And then it came to the championship round here and won this whole flight. So early times bottled and bond is apparently my... I mean, that was from the first flight of that first video that we did a year ago.
Are you ready for some good news?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't have good news.
Ah, damn it.
So You can't get it anymore. It doesn't exist anymore.
I know.
It's now owned by a new company.
I know.
So the greatest whiskey you've ever had, you can never have again.
Oh, I know.
You should move on to vodka.
I might as well at this point. Panther is setting themselves up for contract. They're already contract. Oh, okay. Interesting.
To just Minnesota companies?
Drink what you like. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Douglas and Todd might be switching out sources. Okay.
So where are you suggesting they get their source from?
So what was I just going to bring up? Oh, okay. So we mentioned this at the beginning of the video before some of you were in here. So we're completed with our 100 proof flight.
Right.
And I may end up, before we go, you know, we were talking about like, we don't have to go through all the lists. I mean, before we go, we can, because it's the end of the video.
Sure.
Just because this was a massive list, because for those of you that don't know, we did a battle of the bottled in bonds like a year and a half ago that involved 2 flights, the winners of those flights, the top 2 for each of us in a 3rd flight.
Yep.
So that was a whole bunch of whiskey. So we took the winners of those and brought them
Which
in.
was Old Tub and
tonight.
Early Times.
And that was this and this, yeah. And this is tier 3 that we've done live. If we would have wanted to do all the 100 proofers, it would have been, it would have been a 12-week season of doing this. So that's why we decided to just include the winners from that.
Right.
So question for you guys, and you can throw this in the chats, and please do. Do we go from 100? We know what our 107 proof flight is going to be.
Well, 104. So I have a 4 Roses single barrel select, which I think is great.
It's 105.
No, it's
or 104, but then we could do a 105 flight maybe.
Then I have 105 Yellowstone.
Okay. that
special barrel one. There's something else. I have 108. Is that too far? Because obviously 107 is going to hit several.
Well, so that's what I'm asking them about. So we know what our 107 proof flight is going to be so far.
What's in there? I mean, you have Old Rip.
Old Rip Van Winkle, Weller 107, Baker's Single Barrel, and NASA Family Reserve.
And
so do we do a flight between 100 and 107 at 105 proof?
Well, I think if we have enough whiskeys, if we have between 104 and 106, let's say, if we have 4 whiskeys, I think we can do a flight.
Because then we've got enough for 110 proof.
Yeah,
flight
totally.
For
There's plenty at 110.
Makers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and 107, I feel like I have something else that also is in the 107 range.
Let's see. What does this say? There's a Minnesota company called Little Round Still. I've heard of them.
I've not heard of them.
Hang on, this is going away from me. That's contracted from Panther. Okay.
Oh, wow.
You know, I have a Montana whiskey that I bought. Correct me if I'm wrong on the short barrel term. I'm not by the bottle, Ryan. Short barrel refers to barrels smaller than 53 gallons. They are probably using 30.
Yeah.
Single. Single barrel. Okay. So single barrel, Ryan, means when so did you have a Douglas and Todd single barrel? I might have missed something in the chat here. Single barrel means they just barrel up one single barrel versus like batching together multiple barrels to make a release of whiskey.
Consistent flavor.
Yeah. So like this stuff, Wild Turkey, they're going to batch 1,500 barrels at a time to just give it a single, to make it always taste like Wild Turkey. Whereas if you take one individual barrel, then that might make a different.
Which you can buy, but that's called Kentucky Spirit, and it costs a couple dollars more.
Yeah, double. Yeah.
Well,
so anyway, what was I just going to do? What were we just talking about before we got distracted?
We're talking about the 105, 107.
110.
Yeah. We just need to look at what we have in inventory. If we can build another flight at the mid 105s before we get to 107. Because I think we have several at 107. That's probably its own flight.
Well, we definitely have 4 of them that are good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to get any bad bourbons from here on out. Says Douglas and Todd is a mash bill of 70 corn, 30 wheat. Not sure what lunatic made that mash bill. Do you think that maybe not having that
malted barley?
Yeah, because doesn't the malted barley help with like the enzymes? And yeah, that's kind of weird. Maybe that's what gives it its funk.
I know that Old Elk has 100% wheat mash bill.
Yeah, and when there's some 100% corn ones. Hey, Aiden, have you ever had, since you're a Minnesota guy that's into bourbon, and if anybody else wants to comment on this, have you ever had any of the cask strength like J. Carver stuff? I've got a regular 80 proof one, and it is what it is for 80 proof, but I'm kind of interested in the cask strength stuff.
So J. Carver, for those who maybe haven't heard of them, That is a Wisconsin company. J. Carver and Sons.
J. Henry.
Oh,
and
J.
Sons is
Henry.
Wisconsin. J. Carver is Waconia.
Oh,
Waconia, Minnesota. Check your inventory on the 105. Yeah, I don't know because you're right. The Four Roses, I forgot about that being 104. Not sure if I have any other 105 proofers.
I have something else at 104. I forget what it is, and then I have something at 108. It's the Jim Beam 108. But
I know what I was going to say. So I have this bourbon from Montana. So my parents sent me a picture from the store. They're like, "Hey, they've got these Montana bourbons here. Do you want us to pick you up a bottle?" So I said, "Sure. Pick out the high proof one."
Mhm.
It's not high proof. It's like 90 something. The rest of them were 80. So anyway,
Yeah,
I looked further on this bottle, and it's actually they contracted from Texas.
oh, it's Balcones.
So yeah, blended and bottled by Lolo Creek Distillery and distilled and barreled in Texas. So it's like somebody used Texas whiskey as their source
on purpose.
on purpose. Yeah. The J. Carver cast strengths are good. They taste the same but have much more flavor. Makes sense. Okay. Because I want to support some local distilleries. They're also pretty expensive. They're like $70.
Yeah, that's the hard part is, small distilleries just trying to get going. And
Tattersall barrel proof ryes are awesome. Okay. Usually when I see the Tattersalls, it's like those pre-mixed old fashions and stuff.
Mhm.
J. Carver just did a release of a 7-year at 94 proof, and that one I'm curious about. Okay. I'm going to have to check that out. So if you actually go to Waconia and go to the MGM liquor in Waconia,
okay,
maybe this has to do with the fact that they're 2 blocks away from the distillery, but they've got a ton of the J. Carver offerings. So, all right, I'm getting to this blend just a little bit more here.
This just in.
It's good.
It's
good. Bad Axe Bourbon. Check out Bad Axe Bourbon merch store. It's a comfortable shirt. All right, do you want to add anything else to this? You want to kill it at an hour here?
Yeah,
we
should
go an
probably
hour.
kill it, and then we're an hour in.
All right. Well, so this has been our final round of the 100 proof bourbons. Next week, are we going live next week?
It's up to you. I'm available.
We're trying to go live every Wednesday if it works out.
We also need to do more Zooms with our Patreons.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
on Friday night or something. So
yep,
we'll talk about it, figure out what we can do, and post announcement what we're doing.
Ryan says mine is a small batch, 4-year, 93 proof. I'll send you the pic later. Yeah, so small batch means basically if they've got 1,000 barrels of it, they might barrel up 20 of them.
There's no specific
small batch legally means nothing. Yeah. It just means whatever it is to the distillery. So if they got 1,000 barrels of it, they might barrel up 15 barrels in one batch, put it out, another 15, one batch, put it out. So that's what that means.
Yeah.
Sir Cut says, do it. Do what? Are you talking to someone in the chat? Go live next Wednesday?
All right. That sounds right. All right. Sir Cut said do it, so we're going to do it.
All right. J. Carver is good at diversifying. I just wish all their stuff wasn't just, yep, that tastes like whiskey. Yeah, I agree. That's the only one that I've had is kind of that same thing. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're going to cut it out here. Cheers, everybody. Have a great night. And yeah, we'll probably see you next Wednesday. So in the meantime, check out the videos. You guys rock. Thanks for the show. Well, hey, thanks for being in here and thanks for being our Patreon supporter. And if you want to check us out on Patreon, please do so. It helps.
Link in the description below. Until next time. See you next time.